So, how many of you guys are here very specifically for the keynote presentation? What is the keynote presentation tonight? Okay, good. Just doing a check here. Just want to make sure. So I want to know what presentation I need to pull up. I'm kidding. So today's presentation is buying properties for pennies on the dollar, and it's and more importantly, or really in addition to that, it's buying properties not just pennies on the dollar, but it's buying properties without using your own funds, right? Your own capital, right? So we're going to talk about kind of a combination of finding properties at wholesale prices as well as buying them using other people's financing. So we talked about that a lot earlier today. We find that a lot of times investors get capped out in terms of how much they can actually buy based on how many loans that they can get. So we're going to talk about the process of finding these wholesale deals or creating these wholesale deals, and we're going to talk about the process of buying them subject to the existing mortgage to give you guys more ability to get more properties and grow your wealth. What we've found is when it comes to wholesaling, a lot of new investors think, I'm going to get into wholesaling because it's the easiest way to get into real estate investing. It's the ultimate no money down strategy, right? You only have to have a little bit of money for option. You only have to have a little bit of money for earnest money, right? And with those two things, all of a sudden, if you basically have bus fare, you basically have enough money to start a wholesaling business as a real estate investor. But the truth is, you don't just need the bus fare, i.e. the $10 earnest money, the $10 option money, but you also have to be pretty sophisticated and pretty knowledgeable. And there are a certain set of topics that you need to be knowledgeable about. Very specifically, getting a property under contract. How do you do that, right? What forms do you use to get a property under contract? The great thing about Texas is that the contracts are, even though it's a 9-page contract, it's kind of Mad Lib style, right? So it's like fill in the blank every couple of minutes and they kind of give you a context clue, like noun goes here, verb goes here, adjective goes here, right? Dollar amount goes here. So they help you through that process, but it does take you a couple times to kind of get through the maze before you really feel like you've got this and before you really feel like you can do it right. There are a lot of things that you can mess up on this Texas contract. I want to say there are about 82 fill-in-the-blanks in this contract, and you need to understand it because, like I said, there are ways to fill it out wrong to make your contract maybe worst case scenario, or one of the worst case scenarios, what we would call an unenforceable contract, which means if the seller decides to, the seller doesn't have to sell it to you. We never want that to happen to us as the buyer, so you have to be pretty sophisticated when it comes to that. You also have to be really good when it comes to sales and marketing. And what's kind of interesting is this is an engineer's town, right? And a lot of the engineers that are in this town, man, they have not left their cube in like 25 years. And some of these folks like couldn't talk to somebody like if their life depended on it. So you have to, you have to have that skill set if you're going to be a real estate investor. If you're going to be talking one-on-one to people. Will, you just gave me this look like, oh shit, oh boy. So if this is going to be a problem for you guys, I will say we have exit wings to the back and exit wings to the fore, and don't forget that the exit may be behind you. Okay, so guys, listen, if you. I'm sorry, I forgot to ask permission. Yanger, is it okay if I be myself today? Is it okay? Is it okay if I have a little fun? Okay. Is it okay with everybody? Is it okay? Yes, 3 of you have said yes. With the rest of you, yes? Because for the rest of you, the exit wings really are to the back and to the. But I want to be real, and I want to be able to have some fun, and it's part of my personality. So I hope that's okay with you guys. But as a wholesaler, you do really have to be good at sales and negotiation. You really have to be good at working with someone and solving their problem. And for some people, that comes very naturally, and for some people, it's not very natural, right? So it's something you have to work on. Analysis and due diligence. This is Will. This is I'm talking to you, right? This is like left brain. Are you left brain? You got those glasses. You kind of give me that left brain, like yes or no? Yes. Do you have spreadsheets? Lots of them about real estate investing? Yes. Okay. That's what, yeah. So the left brain people are excellent at the analysis and due diligence. So what does that mean? That means coming up with what the property value is really worth. not everybody is really good at figuring out what the ARV is. Some people don't really understand how to come up with a good number. And what I tell people all the time, and I say the same phrase over and over again, is this: think like a bank. Think like a bank. Because some investors, as investors, we get the properties that are not always the best properties. Sometimes we'll get a 3,000 square foot property in an area where the average square footage in the neighborhood is 2,000 square feet. Just because you have 50% more square footage doesn't mean that that property is worth 50% more than all the other properties around it. If you are thinking like a bank, you will know and understand this, right? So this is where that knowledge comes in, that analysis comes in. You also have to be good at estimating what the repairs are. And it's not uncommon to see a new wholesaler come in and say, yes, the ARV is way up here, the comps say it's worth this, and the repairs, yeah, they're way down here. When in reality, the ARV is somewhere closer to here, and the repairs somewhere closer to here, right? Understanding those numbers and understanding what your profit is at the end of the day based on those numbers is critical for you guys being successful as a wholesaler finding these deals. And once you figure out these skills, man, the skills for a wholesaler are absolutely the fundamental skills that will help you guys as you go through the process of graduating, if you will, to some of the other strategies that we use as real estate investors. So what are the benefits to this strategy? Well, as a person who's getting started this way, there's practically no barriers to entry, right? You just need a little bit of money for earnest, a little bit of money for option fee. If you're doing your own marketing, you can do marketing that costs money, or you can do marketing that costs time. So we're going to go over some of those different strategies based on what position you are in. A wholesaler gets all of the reward and none of the risk. It's a great way to generate quick cash, because you're only in the deal long enough to find that next investor to wholesale it to. And you don't have to take on any of the risk of the remodel, the risk of the market. And gosh, I'll tell you, nothing makes you a magnet for other investors like having a deal, right? People want to talk to the folks with deals. People want to be around the people with deals, because that's where the opportunity is, right? That's where the money is. Benefits to the end buyer: they get the deal and they don't have to do any of the marketing. So if they, come on, really? Okay, here we go. So if you are someone who feels like, man, I'm great with the numbers, but I'm not great kind of having some of these talks with people, or I don't know how to do this, or I'm a little bit uncomfortable about talking to maybe a seller when the situation is not, they're not doing okay. If that is the case, then you're going to be buying from wholesalers for a long time. But the issue is, how much do we pay wholesalers? How much does a wholesaler get paid on average? $5,000? $10,000? $20,000? Yes, this. I would say, in terms of the distribution curve, I would say that 80% of the wholesale fees are somewhere between $5,000 and $20,000, right? So, but if you're a real estate investor, what could you do with $5,000 or $10,000? You think you get more than one deal if you're doing marketing? Do you think you get more than? Yanger says yes. I would hope so, right? So even though it's good to get deals from wholesalers, man, at some point you want to be taking advantage of that part of the value proposition as well. And one of the things I found with wholesalers is a lot of times, because they're so new, they don't understand some of the finer and more nuanced negotiation techniques and financing techniques that some of the more experienced real estate investors have. So they're not able to kind of get always the best deal. So once you get comfortable talking to people and comfortable creating your own marketing budget of time versus money, then you will ultimately start doing all of this yourself. So let's talk about some of the individual steps that we're going to break down tonight throughout this presentation. And I'll pull all of these in individual slides, so don't worry about having to write them all down. But we're going to start with marketing. I hope that when you spent time listening to Phil earlier tonight, that Phil did a pretty good job of telling you guys the marketing is the lifeblood of your business. If you are not doing marketing, your business is not going to thrive, right? Has anybody here ever heard of Coca-Cola? Yes, right? Probably one of the largest brands in the world, yes? Coca-Cola, you would think, man, this is no reason for you to advertise. Everybody knows who you are. Then why does Coca-Cola, one of the biggest brands in the world, spend every minute of every hour of every day in every language in every country round the clock advertising? Because they know they have to advertise in order to sell more stuff. If one of the biggest brands in the world is constantly and continually advertising, what does that tell you about your baby little brand, right? That you need to be spending time marketing, right? That you need to be spending time generating leads to be able to generate deals. I've got a list of several different marketing strategies that we personally use and that we suggest a lot of new investors use as well. Some of these marketing strategies are very time intensive, and some of these marketing strategies are very money intensive. So if you are not working a full-time job, for example, right now, then you're going to be focusing your efforts on the marketing strategies that require a lot of time, right? You're going to be doing the driving for dollars. You're going to be doing the door knocking. You're going to be putting out bandit signs. You're going to be putting a magnetic sign on your car as an example. But if you're working 40, 50, 60 plus hours a week, man, you don't have time to be doing all of these things. So the marketing problem, the way that you are going to solve it is by throwing money at that marketing problem. What does that look like? That looks like internet advertising. That looks at like radio, TV, billboard advertising. That looks at like a lot of direct mail. So everyone's marketing strategy is going to be a little bit different, again, depending on what balance of time versus money that they have. Assuming that you do it all right, you'll get a call from that motivated seller. Now comes the sales and negotiation part of these types of transactions, right? So you'll set an appointment to see the house, conduct an interview and find out their motivation or reason for selling. Understand what repairs it needs. How do you figure out what a property needs in terms of repairs while you're talking to them on the phone? What do you ask, Ryan?
When was the last time something was replaced, the HVAC or roof?
Who else?
Foundation.
You ask them about the foundation? Okay, what else? You ask them about the roof? What else? What else?
Age.
Age, yeah. You're built. You're pulling that out of the tax record anyway, but yeah, what else do you ask them? Number of rooms. Okay, what else?
Why are you selling?
Why are you selling? What else?
Is it in good shape?
Is it in good shape? So Ryan, you asked an objective question, which was, when was the last time you blank? When you ask an objective question, you should get an objective answer. I last replaced my roof in October of 2010. Yes? That's going to give you probably a number. When you ask them, when was the last time you updated the kitchen? Oh, that was probably 1972. Okay? Is that going to give you an idea of what may or may not need to be replaced on that house? Yes. When you ask someone what is the condition of your home, is that an objective question or a subjective question? It's very subjective. And sometimes people will say, my house is great. Yeah, I love this place. It is my home. And home to my 17 cats. And by the way, I do not, and my house does not smell like a cat, right? That is my subjective opinion about the condition of my property. Yes? Yes. Don't ask, what is the condition of your property? You're going to get an answer that you cannot put a dollar figure on. But if you ask the question the way that Ryan asked the question, when was the last time you blank? And if you are looking at the comps, right, to see, okay, well, in this neighborhood, everything is my favorite colors, granite and stainless steel, then you know if they last replaced that kitchen in 1972, you're going to have to gut the entire kitchen, right? And you can put a dollar figure on that. But if you're looking at the comps and the comps show that all the kitchens in this neighborhood have the butcher block or green laminate countertops, so if yours is in good shape, right? And it was 1970. I think we can live with that, right? And you can put a number on that as well, right? But you've got to start by asking the right questions. What's another question you want to ask when you want to understand the condition of a property? I gave a hint. Not just when was the last time, but is that a dog that I heard about? I love dogs. I just got my son a cockapoo for Christmas this year. Man, that dog is so cute. How many dogs exactly do you have? Yes? Is that going, if they replaced the carpet last year, but they have 10 dogs, that carpet may not be what you kind of thought that it might be, right? Ask about animals. What's the other kind of animal you want to ask about? Who said children? Oh. I just want to take a note. I did not say children. There was these two ladies right here who said that. But do you want to know the answer to that question? Yes, right? My son, Bill, one of the investors that I work with, gave him this idea that, oh man, you need to have a candy stash. So like he keeps his, like I walk into his room sometimes in the morning, I'm like, where did this Coca-Cola come from and why is it spilled all over the floor, right? I mean, stuff happens. So I'll also ask some of those questions as well, because sometimes those will inform and change what the repair cost is on some of the properties that you're looking at. And then always express your interest in buying the house. This sounds silly to say, but I can't tell you how many new investors try to just, as soon as they get the call, just try and get off the phone. Oh, there's no deal here. There's no deal here. There's no deal here. Guys, don't rush. Don't be in a rush to get off the phone. Be in a rush to try and get it under contract. Even if it's not the perfect deal, guys, the experience of you getting it under contract, the experience of you going through that is well worth the effort of trying to figure out how you can help that person, I promise. Analysis and due diligence. So do your diligence to figure out the value of the property and get the comparables. Where do you get the comparable information from? Where do you go to get this? The MLS, right? Who of you guys in here, and be honest with me, please. Who are you guys in here who are using Trulia or Zillow or Redfin or something else? It's okay. It's okay. Who else? Who else? Who else? None of you. Is this a head scratch? Okay. All right. So, guys, listen. Zillow and Trulia, they know nothing. Okay? Texas is a right to privacy state. The only thing that is filed in the public records is what? Is the sales price filed? No, but that note, the deed, the note, and the deed of trust, those are all filed. Okay? The promissory note just says, here's how much was financed on this property. It doesn't say what the property sold for. That information is in the MLS or between just the buyer and seller in the event that it didn't get on the MLS. Now, do I think that Zillow and Trulia have are kind of on the MLS-ish? Yes, but have I also seen Zillow and Trulia give completely ridiculous numbers for the values of properties? Yes. How many realtors in the room by raise of hands? Realtors in the room? Realtors in the room? Realtors in the room? And when your buyer or somebody says to you, like, well, Zillow says, don't you just want to punch them in the neck? I know I do, yeah. It's like, oh God, please don't say that, right? So guys, realtors are the only ones who should be giving you those comps, okay? When's the only time that you should use information from Zillow or Trulia? There's only one time. When is that? When it works to your advantage, right? And occasionally it does, right? Occasionally Zillow or Trulia is going to say, oh, the value of this property is only $200,000. And you know, because you have access to the comps, the value is really maybe a little bit closer to 250. Or maybe it's closer to 400 because it's in an area where they're taking a 1,000 square foot little house and they're blowing out the back of it and adding another 1,000 square feet. So you know that the highest and best use of that property and the ultimate ARV on that property might be double what Trulia or or Zillow have it for. So guys, and I will, what do we say the average price house was in the city of Austin? You may remember that? $475,000. Guys, Make me a promise. Make a promise to yourself. Everyone just raise your right hands. We'll do this together. I state your name. Do solemnly swear. But I will not use Zillow, Trulia, or the tax record. Philip's like, he's in church. He's like, I'm just going to say something when she looks at me. I will not use Zillow, Trulia, or the tax record to make a $475,000 decision. Right? I mean, really, if you are making a $475,000 decision off free information on the internet, I mean, why don't you go ahead and just download the bankruptcy paperwork, hell, while you're there, right? Because that may be the direction that you head in if you are using incorrect data to make a huge decision like the types of decisions that we're talking about. Is everyone on the same page with that? Yes? How do you find an investor-friendly realtor? Here. Yes, here, right? We've got usually about 10% of our membership is realtors. Make a preliminary offer. How many of you guys feel pretty comfortable about making a preliminary offer over the phone? Yes. Why do you feel comfortable about that? You got the info. You got the when was the last time? You got the kids and pets and all that stuff.
Because I do it about 5 or 6 times a day.
Because you do it about 5 or 6 times a day, and after a while you feel pretty comfortable about it, right? After a while, someone says it's this zip code, and you're like, oh yeah, I already know what the potential is on that. And then you do the analysis, and you say, well, this is the square footage of the property, and you do the analysis and say, this is the square footage of the lot, and then you say, I know what this house could reasonably sell for, right? After you go through all the repairs, and after you have that ARV, and after you have those repairs, you're in a position to make an offer. How do we make our offers? Well, what is the maximum allowable offer formula? What's the formula? Jamie says 70% of the ARV. It's only the minus repairs if you want to make money, right? If you just do 70% of the ARV, you're going to lose money, right? So everybody got that? Yes? Yes or no? It's okay to say no. I'm expecting some no's. No is good. 70% of the ARV minus repairs. And I see some of you smart asses in here not writing anything down. That's okay. Margaret, pop quiz. Overlook, and you can phone a friend. ARV is 300,000, repairs are 50,000. What is your offer? I know the answer. 160. 70% times 300 is 210. 210 minus $50,000 in repairs means your maximum allowable offer is 160. I only know it because I say it like 5 times a month, so I already did the math in my head. I know you pull out a calculator if you want to get serious about it, but guys, I can go through these quickly, right? Quickly. You guys, and when with the calculator, you guys need to be able to go through this quickly. You can go through this quickly, Carrie, because you're doing the calculations like on the phone as you speak, right? If you are, as soon as you kind of get familiar and start talking to the same people in the same neighborhoods, or not same people, but the same neighborhoods, the same area, man, you can do this in your sleep, right? But what's the best way to make an offer? What's really the best? Where do you start? Where do you start? What's the first thing you say? You say, based on my calculations, the maximum I can offer you is $160,000. No, Margaret, what do you say?
What's the
What would you like to sell this property for? What would you like to sell this property for? Yeah. Well, I said what you said, except I spoke into a microphone. But since my voice is still so tiny, you could barely hear me. Yeah. My voice, it's funny because Phil's mom wears a hearing aid, and she's like, I want you to go with me to the hearing aid doctor because I can't hear a word that you say, and I want them to tone it to like your voice because I have such a soft voice. But ask them what they want. Ask them what they want. Occasionally, most of the time, they're going to say, I don't want 160. I want 260. What? No. But occasionally they'll say, I'll take 145. Do you think I'm not going to make you guys do the happy dance, but yeah, like that, right? So most of the time, we'll be dancing later. No, most of the time, they're going to tell you they want more than your 70% of air on your measured dose formula, right? But occasionally, they're going to say they want less, or they want it at that number, okay? Leave yourself open to that possibility by always asking them first. Always ask them first. What would you like to sell this property for? And there's a whole set of, we're not going through kind of negotiation scripts tonight, but there's a whole set of negotiation scripts that you'll want to get through. So if you're close, go ahead and set up and confirm that appointment. And gosh, guys, speaking from someone who has had deals from Dripping Springs to Georgetown, man, you want to call them before you head out to that appointment to make sure that they are going to be there. There's nothing worse than fighting traffic in Austin for 1 hour and the seller says, oh, was that tonight? And you just want to punch them in the throat, yeah. That's the most effective, I think. That's what I found. So make sure you call them before you go out there to get that done. So listen, sometimes you're going to get to the house and man, yeah, I nailed that repair number because I asked all the right questions and because I knew what that neighborhood needed and I've had experience in investing in that neighborhood and I knew what it was going to be. And other times you're going to get there and you're going to say, wow, this is very different from what I thought we discussed on the phone. And when you said that the carpet was in good shape, I didn't know that it was shag like carpet that was in good shape, right? So that's where you get in trouble. And I'll tell you, the reason why I always ask about pets and kids now is because I was fooled one time asking, I was like, I got this, right? I'm asking, when was the last time you replaced all this and that? And one of the sellers I talked to said, oh yeah, we just replaced the entire kitchen like, less than 18 months ago. And I'm like, ah, what about the flooring? Oh yeah, we put in all new Pergo flooring about 18 months ago. And I get to this house, and I'll never forget this house, it's on Bittern Hollow. And I was about 3 months pregnant. Some of you ladies know what I'm saying here, right at this moment, okay? I was about 3 months pregnant, and they opened the door, and this aroma. Did I mention I was 3 months pregnant? It's like not good time to be aromatized by like animal smells, okay? This family had like 15 dogs, and they stacked the dog cages on top of each other, and they were not timely about taking the dogs outside. The reason why that was is because the neighbors would call the police on them because the dogs would just go out there and go crazy. And they had this big swimming pool in the backyard, and it's just there's no room for any of these dogs to run around. So this 18-month-old laminate flooring was destroyed. The kitchen actually was not destroyed because they were also hoarders, but they were kind of the clean hoarders, so boxes everywhere, so they put boxes all over. So that was in good shape. But upstairs, the master bedroom was the cat room and the ferret room. Do you know what ferrets do with their poo-poo? They sling it everywhere. Did I mention I was 3 months pregnant? So that is my tribal knowledge. That is my lesson learned about why you don't just ask when was the last time, right? So if you get there and you are surprised, you may have to renegotiate that offer that you made them over the phone, right? So be ready to do that. And basically you're going to tell them, well, if everything is as you said it was going to be, we're ready to move forward. But if I get there and I find something that's not what I have in my mind, we're going to have to make a change. The other thing is, in Austin, you either have had foundation problems or you're going to have foundation problems. That's just part of life here in Austin, right? The one thing that, to this day, I can't really estimate with more than about 50% accuracy is foundation repair. And many of you guys have had foundation repair estimates where you'll bring out Syntex, and Syntex will say, this is a $25,000 foundation job, right? And then you'll bring out Affordable Foundation or Trinity Foundation, and they'll say, this is about an $8,900 foundation job. What? Wait, no, we're fixing, are you fixing the foundation? Yes, I'm fixing the foundation. Trinity, are you fixing it? Yeah, no, we're fixing the foundation. Is it going to be FHA compliant? Like, I'm going to be able to get an FHA loan after you, yeah, oh, no, is it going to be a lifetime transferable warranty? Oh, yeah. What is the difference? Foundation, you've got to bring someone out there to come and see, and everyone's plan is going to be a little bit different. When you're renegotiating or negotiating with the seller, you're going to show them the Syntex bid all day long. But when you're actually doing the work, you're going to go with Affordable or Trinity or one of those other companies, right? But sometimes you don't know like how bad that foundation is until you actually get inside that house. And there's also some what we call collateral damage from the foundation, which is what? Plumbing, right? The plumbing. Don't let that be a surprise to you as a new real estate investor. I see a lot of new real estate investors get their butts handed to them in the form of not making any money or losing money because they don't do a static test on the plumbing. And then they go and remodel the entire house, and then after they find out that the plumbing underneath the slab needs to be replaced. What percentage of houses does this happen to that are homes built between 1950 and 1975? I have no idea. But a lot, right? What's the price of a repair like that? About 20. About 20 is pretty typical. But it depends. If you're doing it while they're fixing the foundation, roughly $100 per linear foot that they're jackhammering. If you do it after you have laid all of your new flooring, now you're doing something that's really fun, and you're tunneling under. Tunneling under is much more expensive than jackhammering through. So, do homework in advance of purchase, right? Do homework in advance of purchase. So I use DocuSign to put my properties not under contract, but as a signature platform. It's an online signature platform. They don't have to sign it. I use the TREC 1 to 4 family contract. You guys all have free access to that. You do not have to be a realtor to be able to use these TREC forms, Texas Real Estate Commission. You do have to be a realtor or have a realtor helping you if you are using the TAR forms, the Texas Association of Realtors, okay, or the ABOR forms, the Austin Board of Realtors. But you do not have to be a realtor to use the TREC forms. The TREC contract is available for all of us to use for free, realtor or not. Step 6, take the contract to the title company, let them know the deal will be signed. People get confused about this. Earnest money goes to title company. Contract goes to title company. Option money goes to seller. Seller signs, I've received that option money. Title company signs, I've received the earnest money and the contract. Market the properties to buyers. How do you find buyers to be able to make this work for? Where do you find these buyers at? Here, yes, here. This would be good. And speaking of, has anybody in here not joined the Real Estate Investor Association, our group, tonight, and is kind of still thinking, I might want to do that? Anybody? If you have not joined and you're thinking about it, I'm getting like a little kind of love tap from my staff, and they're saying, I want to go home, and that would be good. So if any of you guys want to still join membership, you can see Graham right there, who's giving me that visual love tap on my shoulder to say, if anybody wants to join, please do it now. All right, so you market your property to buyers. You get your buyers list from the Real Estate Investor Association. It's a great place to get them. You give your buyers, you give your potential buyers the stats, right? You give them the ARV, you give them the repairs. You also need to give them the rents, because as it turns out, a lot of real estate investors want to buy rental properties. So that is a statistic, that's a number, right, that's very important to them if they want to buy the rental properties. Sounds silly to say, but man, I find saying things that I think are so obvious that then I realize I can't think like I want to make sure these slides address what the new investor's thinking. So I've seen a lot of new investor wholesalers say, oh yeah, the price to you is $150,000. And then I get like a couple days from the closing and they're like, well then there's my wholesale fee on top of that for $10,000. What? No. When you told me the price was $150,000, that was the price. Well no, I didn't include well you never told me the wholesale fee. Sounds like, well duh to say, but I have to say it because I have had people do this to me, and it's very frustrating and annoying, and it will put you in a situation where people won't want to do business with you going forward. So please include that fee in there. Meet potential buyers of the property, or just send them with the combo code. For us, we buy the $20 lock boxes at Home Depot, and there is hundreds and hundreds of those $20 combo lock boxes all over Austin. We do not go back to pick them up because the gas and time it takes to go back and pick them up, right, is more than the cost of the lockbox itself. We do give whoever buys it the shackle code though. But I like to send the buyers to the properties by themselves, assuming that the seller's not living there. If the seller's living there, we've got to meet, we've got to do this together. How do you protect yourself from another investor? Because this investor business, this is not, we're unregulated. Realtors, we are highly regulated. If we do something untoward to a buyer, to a seller, to another realtor, they've got a system to deal with realtors, right? You can deal with them at the local board of realtors level, and you can deal with them at the truck level, right? So there's a complaint system for both of those. Is there a complaint system for real estate investors? Welcome to the wild, wild west, my friend, where people will screw you over in a heartbeat, okay? So please protect yourself. How do you protect yourself as a real estate investor? Have the property under contract. That's number one. Sounds like a duh, but I have seen people try to wholesale properties that they don't have quite under contract yet. Just, come on, let's just put a little bow on it and let's protect ourselves, right? What's the second thing you do? What else do you do? Non-circumvent. You say that like you know exactly what that is. No. But you can read. That's a good. What is a non-circumvent? No. That's where you go to the buyer and say, listen, got this property under contract. In the event that you buy this property from Will at some time in the future, and you don't include me in this transaction, you still owe me a fee. I'm going to have you sign this document that says, yeah, I understand that, and I know that, and I will do that. Now, how will you know that an investor is going to try and run around you? Well, there's one question I always ask.
Is he breathing?
Okay. Hey, when's your option period up? Okay. I'm just gonna be right here for when you terminate. I'll just be right here. Right? So they're on my way for you to terminate. So the non-circumvent prevents them from just waiting for you to terminate, because it'll usually say, I get another 30 or 60 days on top of that, whatever you can negotiate, okay? Another good idea, I don't have it listed up here, it's a much longer conversation than the conversation we can have tonight, but that would be something called a memorandum of contract. So the way that the truck contract is prepared, it is not a notarizable document. What does a notarized document help you do, allow you to do? File it with the county, okay? It basically says, I've got this property under contract. The memorandum of contract, a notarized document on top of the regular contract, you can achieve that same result. So that way, if Ryan tries to go around me and buy it from Will, Ryan's title company is going to pull my memorandum of contract, is going to pull my contract, and they're going to say, hey Ryan, Will, hey, I found this little thing on the title search that we did, and hey, would you mind tracking down this lady and getting her to sign some type of a release that says she released her interest in the property and that she's not going to try and come back and sue us, the title company, after we close on it? And then, oh crap, right? So Will calls me and Will says, hey you, I know I've been ghosting you. What are some of the other terms we use? Ghosting and breadcrumbing and what's all these like terms, right? It's like, help me out here. Some of you young people know this stuff. What is that? Gone dark on me. There's other stuff. Where are my millennials? Really? Come on, you know this stuff, right? So I know I've been totally avoiding you, not returning your text message, not returning your phone calls, right? Not answering the door when you come over. But now, Shanoa, I need you to sign this release of interest in the property so that I can close it to that guy, Ryan, that you sent over here to my house. Then I'm going to sell it to him instead of selling it to you. And I am a very generous person. Yes? You got that impression from me? Yes? Yes? Yes, every one of you. So what do I say? I'd be happy to release my interest in your property, Will. For a small fee. It represents all the profit that Ryan was going to pay me when Ryan was doing right by me. Yes? Non-circumvent, you like that, Tori, yes? Non-circumvent, memorandum of contract, and actually having it under contract. I feel like I shouldn't have to say that, but I have to say that. This is how you protect yourself as a real estate investor against the wild, wild west that is real estate investing. Negotiate your wholesale fee. Sometimes the wholesaler, the person you're wholesaling it to may say, listen, good news, bad news. Good news, I want to buy Will's property. Bad news is your $15,000 wholesale fee, I can't, that's too much, right? I went back, I had my contractors come through and they found this, this, and this. I need to get the property, I need to get the purchase price down to $7,000 or whatever it may be, right? So you may have to go back and forth and negotiate that fee. Remember, guys, if you are not a realtor, you are not selling the property, you are selling the contract, you are selling your, this is an important term, the equitable interest that you have in this property, okay? If you start selling the property, then now you are acting as an unlicensed realtor and you may get turned into track, which may cause you some problems, okay? But if you're selling your equitable interest in the property, it's a legal term that most realtors, I'll tell you, do not understand. And that's okay, but what I can promise you is this, the attorneys understand it, okay? And I have had the opportunity to use it many times. This is a sample of the assignment contract, the wholesale agreement. You cannot read this, even if you put your glasses on, like I put mine on. I'll tell you what it says, I'll tell you the highlights. Who the wholesaler is, who the end buyer is, who the original owner is, the legal description of the property, and don't worry about writing all this down. And Ryan, you can take a picture of this, but you can just Google assignment contract, and there are going to be about 50 of them will come up. Trek does not make, neither does TAR, neither does ABOR. They don't make an assignment of contract agreement, but there's a lot of them online, and your closing attorney should be able to provide one in many cases for you. Legal description, property address, the amount of the wholesale fee, the amount of the total purchase price, and the amount of the total of the purchase price minus that wholesale fee, so that everyone knows all the numbers are disclosed. Initials on page 1, signatures on page 2. Most of these are somewhere between 1 and 2 page documents, okay? Let's see, substitute your name on the agreement or the contract with the seller for the new end buyer's name, and you can either do a single close or you can do a double close. Why would you do a single close versus doing a double close? Under what circumstance?
Single close is faster and you don't have to worry about the closing costs, and if it's something
You would wholesale it to me on a single close. Like that last fee, I paid $23,000 to a wholesaler, right? You would wholesale it to me. Yes? Would you? Would you trust me? You would not trust me? Really? Why do you keep coming here then? I mean, I'm just curious, right? Okay, so, good to know who your friends are. But listen, when you start making an obscene amount of money, so that guy that paid that $23,000 wholesale fee, I've been doing business with him for probably 6 years. He knows me, he trusts me, he knows my investing philosophy, long-term greedy. I'm not going to hurt somebody short-term to get a short-term gain. Because I want to work with, I want to bring these people to bring me deals forever, right? But if you are working with someone that you don't know, and you're making an obscene amount of money, how do we define that? Over 20,000, okay, good, right? You're going to do 2 closes. You can buy it from the seller, transaction A to B, right? From Will to me in the morning. In the afternoon, because I'm making 20 grand, even though I bought it from Will for 100, I'm selling it to you for 120. So this is a separate transaction and separate closing. Now, is it going to cost me a little bit more money because I'm doing 2 closings? Yes. Is that an insurance policy against Will saying, you're making how much? Or against Ryan saying, you're making how much? Yes. And does that happen? It does. It will happen to you. All right, step 11, send the revised contract to the title company with your invoice. Again, man, does this sound like, well, duh, right? I have seen wholesalers not send an invoice to the title company doesn't pay them. And then the end investor says, well, it wasn't on the HUD, or it wasn't on the closing disclosure, like, I'm sorry, I got a hard money loan on this, I don't have any more money to give to you. It's not my fault that the title company didn't. Just send an invoice. Just make it simple, right? Sounds obvious to say, but I've seen a lot of investors mess that up. Get paid on the HUD or the closing disclosure from the end buyer, cash the check, do it all over again. So build a relationship with people, sales and negotiation, solve their problem. Don't treat them like a number. If you are a left-brain person like I am, you're more apt to treat someone like a number. A right-brain person is going to spend a little bit more time working on that relationship and really getting to the root of that problem and solving the problem. The problem is not always a number. Really important to understand as a real estate investor. Really important to understand in life in general. Offer formula, we talked about this, right? 70% of the ARV minus repairs. If you're wholesaling it, you may even try to subtract your fee. Sometimes you're not going to get it, so sometimes you're going to just ask that end buyer to absorb that fee, so that means they may not get that 70% of ARV minus repairs deal. They may do the numbers and say this works for me, or they may not, right? Who do you need on your power team? Other investors, realtors, contractors, lenders. You find these people here as part of the Real Estate Investor Association meeting. How do you paper up the deal? You need to use the standard state contract, right? You get it for free on track. Your buyer name is your company name and or assigns. Do you have to put and or assigns? Technically, no. Technically, because the track contract does not say you cannot assign this contract. Because it does not say that, you can assign it without telling someone, I'm going to assign it. That being said, most people do write in and or assigns. You'll sign an assignment agreement with the end buyer. So guys, the truth about wholesaling, it's fun and sometimes easy way to make money. It's a great networking strategy. It's a great getting started strategy because there's not very much risk. But the truth is, it is really hard to make a full-time job full-time living out of wholesaling properties. Eventually, you'll want to graduate to other strategies as a real estate investor. And we talk about those strategies, 12 strategies at the Real Estate Investor 3-day training event that we host. And I'd love to have you guys there should you decide to become a member and join us. And I want to say on behalf of the Real Estate Investor Association, thank you guys so much for coming out and joining us tonight. I hope you took away a lot of great information to make you successful in your real estate investing business. Thank you and good night, guys.